Yes, hey, we're live. Hi, everybody.
Finally.
So,
God.
I will remind everybody of this again in a few minutes because it doesn't the chat is not active yet, so there might not be anybody here watching at this moment. But I will I will say it now, and then I will say it again when it gets closer to actually time to watch. But as you can see on your screen, not you, Dana, but everybody else.
Oh,
Uh,
I see how it is.
you don't get to see this. Hi, Mr. I Love the Ants. Up above, there is some information for you, which is that we are currently we are going to watch the second half of the Poirot episode, The Mysterious Affair at Styles. We watched the first half 2 weeks ago. We're going to watch the second half tonight, but of course, it is all one continuous episode, not two episodes. So we left off last time right at the end of a scene, and we're going to pick up at the beginning of the next scene. So to prepare yourself to watch with us, make sure you have your copy of the episode paused at 50 minutes and 43 seconds.
But if you, I mean, I understand that our conversation is just riveting. But I will point out that the end of the scene, there's a clue, and Poirot doesn't notice it. He figures it out later.
And again, I'll say this a second time before we get started for the benefit of people coming in late. But it's 50 minutes 43 seconds is where you want to be paused if you are watching a version that is identical to the version that Dana and I are watching. Now, if for whatever reason you are watching a different version, because sometimes people watch slightly different versions of the episode, then we are paused during the fade to black, right after they're all in the bedroom. And Poirot is standing next to the mantle, and he has just said there was something in the box that tied there's something in the box that connected to the murderer. And Hastings says, "But what?" or something like that. And Poirot says, "I do not know." And then there's like a shot of Poirot in the foreground and Hastings in the background, and you freeze frame and the music swells, and it doesn't freeze frame, but they're just holding. And then it fades to black, and that's where you want to pause because that's where we're picking up. So
he's thinking, Steve. He's using the little gray cells.
The little gray cells. So yeah. So again, I'll go through all of that again in in another 15 minutes or so when it's time to get ready to actually watch. But for those of you who are with us right now,
25-ish. Actually, this is the slightly longer. This is the longer half, correct? So we probably want to start a little bit earlier than we otherwise would.
Yeah. Is it the slightly? Yeah. It's.
Well, we're at 50 minutes. A little bit. Out of what says mine is 147.
Yeah. So we have a slightly longer bit to watch this time.
I'll try not to squeak too much. No promises on exact number of squeaks, though.
It's a few extra minutes.
And yes, as Philip has already said, Happy New Year, Steve.
Happy New Year, Dana. And Happy New Year to everybody else as well.
Yes, to all of you. So how has your 2024 been so far?
We're 3 days in. So far, so good. I mean, it's a little early to tell, but so far so good.
So far so good.
Yeah, no, I've as you know, because we've talked about it in private. I've been very productive. I'm super ahead of things as far as writing for my YouTube channel. I have both of the videos that I'm going to shoot on Saturday for next week have been written have been done for almost a week. And then I also finished a script today for something that I won't shoot until weekend after next. So,
oh my God, pretty good. Just keep bragging, Steve.
Jeez. And I'll go ahead and say this now, because I mean it won't be like a super big surprise, I don't think. But so for the past little bit over a year, for my Ask Away streams on every other Friday, part of the hi Diego, part of the live stream, after I answer the patron and member questions, I show everybody a new Stuffy short, a Stuffy and Friends short. And then I put it up as a standalone YouTube short like the next day. So coming up in the next few weeks, I'm not sure exactly when, but some Friday when I'm not doing a live stream, I'm going to release a Stuffy and Friends shorts omnibus, where it will be all of the shorts, all of the Stuffy and Friends shorts I released in 2023, plus a few that I released in 2022, all edited into a single video and in full 16:9 aspect ratio, in their full frame versions as they were originally shot, not the square
Steve,
YouTube short version. Yes.
The director's cut?
Well, I mean, yes, they're the director's cuts. Yeah. They're not any longer though. They're all still like a minute long, but they're all edited together in a single video. And in addition to that, so it's a total of 30 shorts is how many it's going to be. So 31-minute shorts edited together into a single video. And interspersed between the shorts, there will be new material. There will be new segments that I'm writing right now, featuring Stuffy and some other characters, perhaps. And that will be, sort of spaced throughout the shorts. So yes, Dana.
I haven't heard anything, but I gotta go.
Yes, you have. Go ahead. Dana has pizza to collect, and it's very important. So, Diego has a good question. Do you believe in aliens? I'm sorry, Philip. I'm sorry that you have COVID. I hope you get through it okay. Anyway, Diego, do I believe in aliens? That depends on how you mean that question. Do I believe that alien life probably exists somewhere in the vastness of the universe? Yes. I believe it is more likely than not that alien life, and probably even alien intelligent life, does exist somewhere else in the universe besides just here on Earth. It just seems strange to me that the planet Earth would be the only place where intelligent life ever existed. So I do think that alien life either has existed or does exist that's in places other than Earth. But do I think it has ever crossed our path? Do I think aliens have ever visited this planet? No, I am not aware of any compelling evidence to suggest that aliens have ever visited Earth or humans have ever encountered aliens. But just as a matter of, I don't know, statistical probability, I believe that it's more likely than not that there is alien life somewhere out there. 255 AD, the director's cut. Does that mean you made it because a bunch of neckbeards threw a tantrum? Oh, that's good. No, it means I'm doing it to fleece the neckbeards and sell them the same movie twice, because that apparently is what Snyder is doing with the Rebel Moon thing on Netflix.
Yes, because your movies, your Stuffy and Friends films,
yes,
are so expensive to the audience.
They are. I charge premium rates because it's premium work. Snake Big Cat, that's good. If Poirot became Batman, would he refer to Robin as the little Graysons?
But they're not all Graysons.
There's only one Robin that is a Grayson.
Yes.
Yeah. The little Grayson.
I have pizza now, but I can't eat it yet because it's too hot.
These are the problems you want to have, though,
No, I don't want to have. No. It's right there, Steve. It's right.
Well, but I'm saying if you are going to have adversity in your life,
I'm so weak. I'm weak.
You're not weak.
I am. It is June. It is so hard to resist temptation. Like, I am good at making myself do things.
Sure.
But I am crap at like avoiding things like the pizza.
But it's not a matter of, I mean, you're going to eat the pizza. You just need to wait until it's an edible temperature.
Now I could eat it right now. My mouth, like it would taste so good. Because of course you don't want to wait too long, because then it's like the cheese is not on nice and melty and stretchy. Oh, pizza.
Philip says, speaking of the alien question, what do you think of the Fermi paradox? I mean, look, it's
for those of us who are not quite as nerdy as you and apparently Philip, please, Steve, enlighten us.
The Fermi paradox basically says, if alien intelligence existed that was sufficiently technologically advanced to be able to contact us, they would have done so by now. And the fact that they haven't is evidence that no such civilization exists.
Well, that's silly. Because, like, we, because what if their society is like ours? Or was like ours, and they're just now reaching the point where they can, do long range space travel and or have long range space contact. Civilizations develop; they're not static.
True.
I mean, sure, if there was one, thousands, millions of years ago, then we would, we can expect to have heard from it. But if the civilization is still developing and has relatively recently had those technological advances, it seems perfectly reasonable that they haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't consider it persuasive evidence to not believe in aliens in the way that I've said I believe in them. Like, I just, like I said while you were, getting pizza, like, it's not, I don't think that aliens, you got your wireless earbuds in. I don't think that aliens actually have ever been here. I see no evidence of that. But because, I mean, the universe is so unfathomably vast. There are so many habitable planets in our galaxy.
Isn't there evidence that there used to be water on Mars?
I mean, according to this Doctor Who episode I watched, there was definitely, yeah. No, there is evidence that there may have been water on Mars, and there also may have been water on the moon at one point.
Speaking of Doctor Who, please. Do we want to float our idea for
I mean,
the not so distant future?
For the somewhat distant future, if this is still a little ways off.
Not as distant as long range space travel and communication and contacting other society. Maybe we could be the society that finds and contacts an alien society.
Quite possibly. So we talked about this the other day, and assuming that once we get to the end of not only the end of the Poirot series that we're watching, but also Deep Space Nine, which we are now officially more than halfway through. We have 3 seasons of Deep Space Nine yet to go, 5, 6, and 7. If we get to the end of Deep Space Nine and we still want to keep doing this, the proposition is that we will continue the show where my half, instead of being Deep Space Nine, my half will be Doctor Who, because I have watched Doctor Who now and will continue to watch it, and Dana has never seen it. And Dana, your half, after Poirot is over, will be
Equalizer, which is also on Paramount Plus.
The current version of the Equalizer, starring Queen Latifah. Yes.
Which is currently on Paramount Plus, and hopefully by the time that we get done, still will be. And we may change our minds, but that was kind of, we were just talking about the fact that, I mean, not just, but we were earlier talking about the fact that you're watching Doctor Who and I'm not. I'm sort of, I'm Who adjacent.
Yeah.
there are a lot of in my nerd circle, there are a lot of people who have watched and enjoyed Doctor Who.
Yes,
And I
I've
think
been the
I've seen
same
the
way
odd
for many
episode
years.
here, yeah, for a long time.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of
I've been
overlap.
it's just one of those things because it is like a really popular show and it's been around for a long time and it has its fans and it's just sort of been over there, just kind of minding its own business. And until relatively recently, I haven't made an effort to get into it, and now I'm making an effort to get into it. So yeah.
So Fermi, who asked the question? Fermi's paradox. So
Yeah.
I've got a question. So the paradox is there. So who was that Fermi? Was just are we talking like a physicist?
I think it was Enrico Fermi. I think he was a physicist. Yeah.
Okay. Did he ever write any theorems?
The Fermi theorem?
Yeah, like have we figured out the last one?
Fermi's
Never
last
mind.
theorem?
Yeah. Sorry. Math joke.
Well, then it falls on deaf ears, my dear.
All right. So yeah, for a long time, Fermat's last theorem was like the
Fermat's last theorem. Yeah. Okay. I've heard of that. I've heard of that.
It was a little bit of a stretch, but too much apparently.
Honestly, if you ever want to tell jokes and be greeted by nothing but confused silence, then tell math jokes to me, because I don't know from math. I don't want to know from math.
I know. I'm really bummed because, I mean, I maybe this coming summer, because I'm really thinking that this summer I'm not going to do one of my side jobs. I'm thinking. Because they're both because they're both outside. Mostly because they're both outside. And like, as much as I really enjoy the work, that working at both Rock City and Lakewood and Pasoka, it gets really hot. It gets really hot. But it's like the book is right there, Steve. Sorry, it's right here. And it's been calling to me. And I would love to like go through this with you.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
It's so look, it's so pretty. I have a bookmark in. I have a bookmark
I'm
in
glad
it.
that you I'm glad that you're interested in it. I'm glad that it brings you joy. And it starts off with
easy stuff. Sketch polygons, Steve. We could sketch polygons together.
In my mind, here's the thing. And maybe this will bring it home to you. In my mind, the only difference between that book in your hand right now and a D&D manual is that I know the book in your hand right now is useful to some people. It does contribute something to humanity.
Vilcata, I have an important question. And it changes things significantly. Is it a city gangrel or a country gangrel?
You need to stop. You need to stop with this. And 255 AD, so I wanted to touch on this. I've seen arguments that the odds of organic proteins forming might exceed 1 to the number of atoms in the known universe, let alone planets. I mean, like I said, I am not a mathematician, as I just got done saying. I am not a physicist or an astronomer or a cosmologist, so I'm not sure how they arrive at those odds. But I'm not sure how accurate an estimate could be of, what are the odds of organic proteins forming when we've only seen them form in one place.
So I'm going to jump off of 255 ADs as well, talking about the Equalizer.
Yeah.
And what's more than just they cast a black woman. that show is like, it's like super woke, like very much like Leverage. I mean, it's built inherently, and I haven't seen the original show. I think I saw one of the movies, though I'm not sure which one, with Denzel.
Oh, the Denzel,
Anyway,
yeah. It's a weirdly durable franchise. Like it's been
well, I mean,
reinvented more
it's
times than you would think if you remember the original show from the 80s.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
but I mean, the premise is, I mean, it's inherently engaging. Standing up for people who can't, who the system has failed, and it's the same premise that we saw on Leverage, which we both liked.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But
and lots of other shows too. I mean, the A-Team,
yeah, exactly,
Knight Rider, like it's classic
yes,
1980s action adventure TV.
absolutely.
Like the yeah.
But this one feels very woke in that each episode, like some of the dialogue is like, here, we're learning about this thing and why this particular paradigm is harmful in our society. Like some, like literally an episode that we watched, I think, gosh, just like Monday, because I think, no, might have just been yesterday, because I think it was since New Year's, because we when we were staying up for we were trying to stay up to watch the ball drop, or no, we were really just trying to stay up to midnight, because we were going to have some not champagne because we didn't get
yes
some
champagne. some sparkling
wine, and then we went to bed. But yeah, somebody says that one of the side characters says to Queen Latifah, that's not really all that subtle. And she just looks at the kid and says, I wasn't trying to be. And it's like, that's kind of the vibe of the whole show.
Yeah.
It's not all, most of the time it doesn't come across as preachy. It just very occasionally like touches into that. But I think it has that kind of vibe. Like, it's not just about standing up for, the guy who couldn't, was in Leverage. The big thing for the main character, Nate, was insurance companies. Man, that was because of his son.
Right.
But that was just like plot. With the Equalizer, it really feels like it is making a statement, and it with every single episode. And I think that's why it hasn't gotten higher scores on, say, IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or things like that. But I'm absolutely loving it. The acting is great. The storytelling, the dialogue is smart and fun. And I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. Yeah. So yeah, 255 AD, it's not just, most of the cast is not white. And it's most of the cast is female. Most of the main cast is female. And it's really interesting. And just, yeah, it's great. I love the characters. Love it, love it, love it. Andrew, I'm sorry that you didn't like the Equalizer movies, but on the plus side, that's not going to be, those are not going to be ones that we
won't be watching those. We'll be and HB Haga, the Woodward version is the original version. The one we're talking about watching eventually is the current version starring Queen Latifah.
Yes.
So
also Vilcata, you say if it was a city gang girl, you wouldn't see them enter, but you could easily say the same thing about the Toreador and the Malkavian, because they could just use celerity to get past. You wouldn't see it. So yeah, 255 AD, exactly.
Yeah.
And but it sounds like you said, it's really woke, and he's like, well, it's a good show anyway. So it's sort of not quite the same as people saying, well, I liked Star Trek before it got woke. They're like, well, yeah, it's woke, but it's a good show.
I saw one.
I haven't met any of those people.
No, I saw one on Twitter today, and I retweeted it, about the Twilight Zone, where there's a film critic named Matt Zoller Seitz who just tweeted what is to me just an obvious, like self-evident observation about the Twilight Zone, which is, and the original Twilight Zone, I need to specify because there have been multiple versions since, but the Twilight Zone, the original.
I know you well enough to know that you mean the Rod Serling one, and
I mean the Rod Serling one. Yeah,
obviously.
But he mentioned again, like to me, if anyone who's ever seen the show, this is like obviously true, that there are a lot of Twilight Zone episodes that are born out of Rod Serling's post World War II disappointment in humanity, and feeling like, we had an opportunity
We could have
to
done
be
better.
better and we didn't. Yeah. And also a lot of in the horrors that were revealed during that war itself too.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
Twilight Zones that touch on specifically things that happened during World War II, or themes that are parallel to things that happened in World War II. But also a lot of it is post-war, disappointment in humanity. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we still like this? Why aren't we better? Um, and there were people like trying to drag him for saying that, and I was like, just the same thing that I think when people say similar things about Star Trek. It's like, have you watched the show? Like, how can you watch the Twilight Zone, especially like, I know you're thinking of Guy Fleegman from Galaxy Quest, but like, how can you have watched the Twilight Zone with anything close to consistency? Like, how can you have seen more than a handful of episodes of the Twilight Zone and not gotten that it's just the same way Star Trek was and still is, and it's more recent versions. It's an intentionally progressive, what we would call today a woke show. Like it's vehemently anti-racism,
yes,
anti-discrimination in general, anti-war, anti-scapegoating, anti-paranoia, like whatever, anti-capitalism in certain ways, sure, and in ways that you might not expect from a show from the late 50s and early 60s.
Gosh,
and
I mean the Mad Men era,
especially
capitalism,
especially the dehumanizing effects that capitalism can have, like the commodifying of human beings. Like that was a theme that came up from time to time in the Twilight Zone. And, so it's like, he wasn't one of you, like Rod Serling wasn't one of you. I mean, he just wasn't. He just wasn't. And I'm sorry that you're just figuring this out, because you're so fucking dense that somehow you have managed to watch the Twilight Zone long enough to be familiar with it and completely miss the point of the entire thing. But yeah.
First of all,
yes.
Will you say the line?
Which line?
Fleegman's
the Guy
line.
Fleegman line? Did you even watch the show?
So second thing, Kevin Scott 76's question. Are you aware of where the term woke came from?
We stole it from black people. we misappropriated it from black people, as we have many other forms of slang.
I wouldn't say misappropriated. I would say appropriated, but it's typically used. It's used in a broader sense now. Woke specifically was referring to, I mean, essentially, black kids, their first experience of racism, that you become aware that, and not just, not so much that, not your first experience of racism, but the realization that, oh, that wasn't a one-off. This is how things are.
Yeah.
It is an awakening. So it specifically dealt with racism in its earlier use, but it has been appropriated and co-opted, and I think it is analogous in other situations as well. I think that's
I think
it is.
I think
the use of it is appropriative because in a sense of not being aware of where it's come from, but it does make sense. I think that's fair.
I think when it is used in the way that people who use it and understand it in good faith use it, it's a really great term. Like, I don't have a problem with the term itself. I have a problem with the way it has been co-opted and turned into a negative and turned into a scare word.
And it makes no sense. Like, literally, the same people who use that word pejoratively will also use the term sheeple.
Yeah.
which is like, that you follow things blindly, ignorantly, as though you are asleep. Like,
Yeah.
the term
If
woke
you're
is the
woke, you're not a
opposite of that.
sheeple. Yeah. Yeah.
How it's just, how does this make sense? And the answer is, it doesn't. It just doesn't. Like,
Well, yeah, but it makes sense to them because they don't believe that the things people are telling each other to stay woke about actually exist.
yeah,
They
but
don't
they
believe that
blindly
racism
accept
is a
that.
problem. Yeah. Yeah.
They
Oh,
blindly accept
yeah.
that, but at the same time,
Yeah.
they don't think that they're sheeple. So I mean, there's definitely some
Yeah.
cognitive dissonance going on.
Yeah.
But I'll also point out that it's 6:30, and
Yes. So
definitely start. And do you think my
we should,
pizzas that do you think my pizza will no longer burn my mouth because I've
I
given it?
sure hope so. I sure hope
Me
so.
too. All right, let's go.
Um,
So the way this works, I get to say this, and then you get to do the thing. So the way
please.
this works, because this is Steve's channel, so Steve gets to be the one who's in charge, and he's gonna say 3, 2, 1, play.
Yes.
And when he says play, we all click play. So make sure that you have your whatever viewer or program that you're using to watch Poirot, the Mysterious Ferret Styles. We in ours, we are at 50:43, right
Correct.
at the fade to black, before we, after the scene in the bedroom. And there's a time code somewhere around here. So if you're a little
Yep.
bit off, it's not going to be a big deal, because this is not a sing along. You don't have to be exactly on the beat, because there is no beat. Anyway, so cue that up and get ready, because here we go. This is it. We're going to find out who done it.
Who done it? All right.
Yes.
So once again, hopefully if you're watching the same version that Dana and I are watching, you have your version paused at 50:43, or paused during right after the fade to black and right before the fade up, after the scene where Poirot goes, "I do not know," when he has, discovered that there's something going on with what was in that case. And he's over by the
The
fireplace
purple
looking
one
at the
is
stuff.
purple. I like
Yeah,
purple.
the purple case, and then he turns away from Hastings, and Hastings is behind him, and Poirot is in the foreground. He's like, "I do not know," and then dramatic music, fade to black. You want to pause right there. So,
Yes.
all right,
All right. We've
here we
given
go.
plenty of time. Plenty of time. Let's
Yes.
go.
All right, I will count this in. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh, remind me when we're done to tell them what I just did before that I'm going to do later.
Okay.
I would give you more clues, but that might give it away. Pizza. It's time for pizza, Steve. Oh, no. I waited too long. The cheese isn't stretchy. There's always three. Who killed them? Where? And with what? You don't have to shout. You never see Hastings. Mm. She was a nurse.
I love how they pronounce strychnine in the British incorrect way.
Ah! I know the answer.
Can I go now? I'm late for my Calvin Coolidge lookalike contest.
Mr. I love the answer. No, they're just wearing nice clothes. And most people had nice clothes that were black so that they could wear them at a funeral.
If a funeral happened to come up, they were always ready.
Exactly.
You know?
That's why you may not have known this, but black was also the most common color for bridal dresses because that was what was nice. It's interesting that they hold up what they're supposed to say rather than asking, do you swear? Which is, how we see it.
Yeah. And yet you did not sign my yearbook. Why was that?
Because you, sir, are an old fart. It's not a signature. I mean, honestly, I don't know how they do this. Where were you on the 18th of December? In the evening? Like during the day, I think I was working because that was the last day of finals.
Was that last month? Oh, well, case closed. Yes, Snake Big Cat. That would make it Deep Space Strychnine. You're very right.
Yeah, that's terrible. You should be very proud of yourself.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Terrible, terrible and beautiful.
The inquest rules that bed is not fooling anyone.
But it did! It's Inspector Jap.
It's young Jap with his darker hair.
I honestly don't remember Jap being in this at all. But it's fun to see him.
It's the origin story. Which is the name of a good Twilight Zone episode.
Oh,
Person or Persons
really?
Unknown. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
not all of that,
title,
just Person or Persons Unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the whole thing.
We should talk about the detective inspector and how, like, the police chief who doesn't believe the detective who's the main character is, like, kind of a thing. She's still dead. Hasn't changed. Honestly don't know if the bush refers to the Germans or the Nazis.
It's a little early for the Nazis.
Is this so? Yeah, it would be the Germans then. Yeah, because this is before World War One.
Well, I think it would be before it would be after World War One, wouldn't it? It'd be like in the interim period between. I took it to be like sometime in the 20s.
Because Hastings was already a lieutenant. Yeah, he's still a lieutenant. So he becomes a captain. So this must be during the war. I don't know.
So late teens?
Yeah, something like that.
And 255 AD, yeah. Just so you don't lose your mind, I'm not familiar with the series you're talking about, but the idea of the creator making a capitalist villain just to stick it to tech bros who latched onto the series is appealing to me. I like that, but I'm not familiar with the show.
36 255 AD? That seems really late.
Yeah, considering that this is like the first time that Hastings and Poirot have met.
Yeah, and also when did I mean, we just passed January 1st. When did Mickey come out?
Yeah.
When was Steamboat Willie?
28.
Yeah, so this was 26 when it was published. So this happens during the war. This is late in the war. I know the answer. I know the answer.
Well, of course you know the answer. You've been in the show.
It's so much fun to look back on this and like watch it. Because I mean, I'd read it before then, but like having been through rehearsal,
right?
Like,
having
really
drilled it into your brain, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So does Sherlock Holmes have the clueless police chief or inspector?
Yes, he has Inspector Lestrade.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to talk about them sometime, because I'm also, of course, familiar, because this detective inspector has the mustache, and that, of course, that makes me think of from Monk.
Oh yeah, Stottlemyre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh hey, Monk.
Lovely mustache.
Sure you can use my phone, Monk.
That is a really very confident part in his hair. Wow.
A confident part.
You don't often see guys who have a part like, it's not even in the middle, it's like slightly off center. Yeah. It's just really, that was just
bold. It's bold.
It is.
It's bold.
Has nothing to do with the mystery. I'm doing great, Matthew. He is the goods. It's just like, when the hell did you get that?
I don't like the look of this.
Was that Superintendent Battle? I don't remember his name.
I didn't catch his name. I superintended somebody.
Oh, that's interesting that they're all carrying bouquets.
And now this is a funeral.
No. This is the procession.
To the funeral.
So, Funzy. Is it?
Well, there's a coffin.
But they're going somewhere, presumably to the cemetery, where that's the internment, not necessarily the funeral. The funeral happened in the church earlier. Steve.
Okay.
Do you know why I know this?
Because you were in the show. Because you were in the play.
No,
you
actually,
probably
I went to
did some version of the scene.
Ago.
Why do you know this?
Because I went to a funeral.
Oh, because you went to a funeral, yeah. See, it's all funeral to me. The stuff at the church, the stuff at the graveside, it's all funeral.
The because I didn't go to the internment. Like, that was just the family. So it's interesting to see, like, a bunch of people walk by who aren't, I mean, now they're showing, of course, family, because that's also the, they're the suspects.
Yeah.
But there were a bunch of people who walked by and I'm like, I don't know this person. That's just, look, there's randos there.
Funeral crashers.
The maid. Our Dorcas wore spectacles. Maddie, I can't focus on anything but the mustache. They have some fantastic hair in all these episodes. I love the hair and the cars.
Very good, Hastings. This is green.
Not the red one. We're looking for green, Hastings. You're doing great.
I want to see what you look like with a beard. Abraham Lincoln.
Dun, dun, dun! I mean, Donald, it's the nicest thing he's got. He's doing the best he can, okay?
Oh, thank you, Matthew, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Happy New Year to you, too.
Mr. Armour, fun fact, although I don't think it would have been relevant in the location and time period, is that white is often used for funerals to represent mourning or the absence of someone.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Because you are convincingly unintelligent.
Authentically.
Indeed.
Mr. Armour, who? Do you mean the Dorcas, the maid? I think that is the female character we were talking about most recently. I'm so impatient for the resolution. Like, I want to talk about who done it.
You already know what it is. Like,
I know, but I can't talk about it yet because we haven't gotten to that part.
Okay, but I mean, you've seen some of these, or at least read the stories they're based on before, so you know the solution a lot of the times when we watch these episodes. But you don't. You're not as vibrating.
I said earlier, I'm more familiar with it. So
yeah,
like a lot of the times, I'm like, there are a couple of pieces here and there that I know are the salient, the most significant points. This one.
Dorcas Malorcas. That's what I think of. In the Latin, Dorcas Malorcas.
Oh. We have a Viola here. But we know nothing will come of it. You know why?
Because it's Hastings, and he's going to strike out.
Yeah, but he's not really attracted to her because.
Oh, because she's not a blonde. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll try to fake it as best I can, Poirot.
Bad casting here because if I remember correctly. Mr. Eilifance, no, the camera's literally attached to the top of my screen. So when I'm typing, yeah, it bounces because that's where it is. No one likes me. I thought this was Mary at first. I forgot. It's Cynthia, and she ought to be a blonde.
Well, gotta go.
No. And he looks so wonderfully ridiculous.
Well, you're not sitting where I am.
Yes, there is. when it's you who says it.
Later, loser. Oh,
She
marry
just
you.
gets up and walks the heck away.
She's like,
that's
shit.
so much. It's one of my favorite
I'm not
parts of the
that
whole
bad
story.
off. Thanks, but no thanks. Okay, dude.
Oh, he so strikes out. Oh my God. He proposes to her in complete earnest because he feels bad about, and she is pretty, and she laughs at him. She literally
She's
laughs
like,
at him.
yeah, sure, I'll
So
marry you.
great.
Whatever, dude.
Oh my God. Oh God, Hastings.
And Vilcata, he didn't strike me as Will Wheaton, but next time he's on screen, I'll pay attention for that and see if I can see where you're coming from there.
Face is too wide, especially in the chin. His jaw is too wide. John.
Bum bum.
Not English chaps, Andrew. It's Hastings. Hmm. Yes, Mr. Armour. Yeah, Lieutenant, I would have married you, but I didn't want to. Dun, dun, dun.
1917. There we go. There's the date.
Okay, and this is interesting. Keep in mind that we're used to the American system of the court, and the English system is not adversarial.
They're all friends.
They do still have the two sort of opposing sides, but they don't they don't represent the state and the victim or the accused. It's more that they're sort of like Pilpul. They're discussing it. The objective is to arrive at the truth through this discussion. It's really an interesting difference.
An intrigue. Carrying on an intrigue. What a beautiful British understatement. Referring to it as indirectly as possible.
H.B. Haga, I'm going to disagree. Not because Dorcas is a name for St. Tabitha, but because given Agatha Christie's views on class, because it's an appropriate name for a servant.
Snake Big Cat, don't be silly. Most cowboys couldn't have afforded a pair of English chaps.
I like her hat. That is a very fine hat. Matthew K, not so much that they care about facts and we don't, just that they have a different way of looking at a court case. Honestly, this makes me more stressed watching this
I feel better now. I feel good.
In with the good air, out with the bad air, Poirot. We start from the beginning. At the bottom again. Dun, 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 dun. And there's also a red herring, and it's so good. I do not drive the well. I drive très mal.
He can rebuild it, Maddie. He has the technology.
That is not in the book, and that's freaking hilarious. Mr. I Love the Ants, I think you're wrong.
Oh, it was a backflip, not a cartwheel. A no hands backflip. He just
no, Poirot. He's not. At this point, he's not happy. He is excited. He has to find justice. That if there is happiness, it comes later. Oh, thank you, Matthew K.
She is a lot of fun, Matthew K.
Let me tell you, I'm having fun. I'm so excited. I'm very impatient. I'm like, look, you figured it out, Poirot. Come on, let's get to the reveal because I want to talk about it. Steve, I'm doing a very good job of being patient today.
She gave him the key to the bathroom. He's really got to go.
Like, legitimately, Mr. I Love the Ants, the book is in another room. I want to go get it, but I'm also enjoying watching it, so I don't want to go get it. But, like, after tonight, I'm going to go look it up because I think you're wrong.
Alka-Seltzer.
Oh, look. Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? Do you know what that phenomenon is called?
No, not off the top of my head.
Precipitate. I know the answer. I know it. It'll be interesting to see how they stage the reveal. I found drolls. Not needed. Okay, shutting up now. Dun dun dun. And he's going to say, wait, just one more thing. He done RUNNOFT. Mary's blonde, but she's already married. So she's, Captain Hastings is a proper sort of man. I'm being so patient. And it's so difficult. I don't know what the devil is going on, madam. I can't believe we still have 20 more minutes.
20 minutes.
Some of that's got to be like credits or something, because holy bonkers,
I guess it's going to be a lengthy explanation. He's instructing him to put his hands on the wheel.
Le safety is très important.
Poirot, you're late. Everyone's already in the accusing parlor.
He managed, Mr. I love the ants. That is so much more like Poirot. He manages to wait until he's actually out of the car. He holds it and he holds it and it's like, actually.
I just need to say this.
Maybe we want you. No.
Sit your ass down.
Mr. I love the ants, not necessarily. Apparently, In Britain, there are a whole bunch of people who don't put their hands at 10 and 2.
Terrible, terrible.
I know.
I mean, Poirot would hate driving with me because a lot of the times I just have my hand at 6.
Gasp. Vilcata, I thought Colonel Mustard had the revolver. Miss Scarlet did it all.
Shut up.
I mean, she could have destroyed it, but she didn't. It's interesting that he says 80 degrees, that he's using Fahrenheit.
Oh, and yeah. Or is he?
Husband and wife. Because she only heard the mistress.
Mm-hmm. Dear Penthouse Forum.
I read it for the articles.
Don't you hate that?
Liz, also, let's not forget, he's not British.
He's Belgian.
but he is also aware that he's talking to British people. So it's really interesting sort of layering there. Precipitate. So suitable. Of course. Why are you even asking Hastings?
To be polite.
No, to point out that Hastings don't know nothing. Nope. So Dr. Wilkins said, no. Which I love the answer. It's really interesting. Mm-hmm. Right there, right there, right there, right there. She goes right for him.
Thanks for
Bye,
stopping by,
Matthew. See you
Matthew.
next time.
Glad you could make it.
Aw.
Okay.
I mean, they do have them stand next to each other. She's taller than he is. That's interesting. Mr. I Love Dance, we should talk about that later.
Pip Pip off to jail.
Off to the gallows.
You can pay me.
Give me the money. Tea and cake. Looks like a lovely little seed cake. Dun, dun,
Voila.
dun. And what's lovely about that is that they were also talking about the purple locked case. And so that's the red herring. Not that it's not important, but it's not as important as the spills. No. That's what the false beard is for. Mr. I Love the Dance, it was a really hot day. Hastings, you know the nothing. Oh boy, here we go. Nope, 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 nope. Hastings knows the nothing. She didn't want you, dude.
Oh, well, back to the Western Front for me, I suppose.
Perhaps they'll make me captain.
The end.
Hooray! Oh, what fun. Although I will say, and part of it is because their the husband wasn't tall enough, because they did have a very tall woman to play Evelyn Howard. And that was one of the reasons that I got cast as Evelyn Howard, because they had someone to try out for the part of the new husband who was like my height. And so when Poirot does the reveal, and I got up and said, "You fool," and he got up and said, "Shut your mouth." And we were standing, like, Poirot was like upstage of us, and we were standing on either side of him face to face. And he points out that Evelyn goes, that's why the signature wasn't his. It was because it was her signing his name. And she's not trying to make it look like his signature so that it can be used as evidence to support him. And then he can also bring out his alibi so that he can't be charged again with the crime. So yeah, and so they had us right face to face with each other, and we're the same height, the same build, and it was so much fun. To the extent that when we did, "You fool, shut your mouth," someone, the first night, someone in the front row, I think it was one of the ushers, went, "Oh," and I was just like, glare as hard as you can, don't laugh, you're the murderer.
Yeah. Don't blow it.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. And also, I mean, she gets to be bombastic. I mean, there are a number of reasons that was a really fun part. She also gets to be very bombastic at the beginning when she's like, "I know he did it. He killed my dear friend." Of course, she's really the murderer. And so that was fun. And then she's gone, which is essentially her alibi, except for the fact that she's the one who put the sleeping powders into the tonic to create the precipitate. Christie was a nurse, and so there are a lot of her mysteries that rely on her knowledge of poison and medicine and things like that. And so anyway, so she goes away. So apparently, she's not even there when, the lady dies. But also, I'm not on stage and I don't have lines that I had to learn, which is also definitely a plus.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was just so much fun. And then, of course, Christie loves the double clue. Like when you see Poirot, he's messing with the things on the mantle, and he's like going on. He's talking about the locked case, and then Hastings says something, and Poirot's like, "No." Hastings says something about the case and how you were moving things about on the mantle, and I said something about the case. But it's the way he says it that makes Poirot realize that I was moving things around on the mantle, and I shouldn't have had to straighten them up because I'd already straightened them once before. So you think it has to do with the purple case, and it has nothing to do with the case itself. So she loves that sort of, it's not it is the clue, but it's not the clue that you think it is.
Right.
So it's 7:30 now. I do have one other little piece of news.
Yes, please. Please. Yes, the other thing you wanted to mention. Yes.
So I just signed up to audition at the same theater where I did Styles, to audition for Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes, this is
I'm
very exciting.
excited. I know. I'm I'm a little uncertain. You're like, oh, they should cast you. But the thing is, none of the parts as written in this version of the play are for someone who is my age. They're all for someone in their 20s or 30s or someone 50 to 60. So I'm like, I mean, I could make it work, but we'll see how it goes. So,
well, I mean,
fingers.
God, people, how old were, I forget their names now, but when there's a, how often have people in their 30s and 40s played Romeo and Juliet? Like,
it's Murder on the Orient Express, and they will probably have a lot of people to choose from. So I'm definitely not confident in the least, but just the opportunity to go and try it will be fun. Well, thanks everybody. Gosh, I would love to play the American lady. Let's leave it at that. That would be she's
without giving anything away.
And then of course there's the Russian, who is like way older, and I can't imagine they would cast me for that. But can we do Wordle? Because actually,
yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Let's play Wordle and then call an end to the proceedings. So let's play Wordle and wrap it up. Here is today's official Wordle, everybody. And if you have never played Wordle with us before, the way this works is Dana takes the lead, but Dana is not actually looking at the Wordle board. She's only going by what I described to her. So if you are watching here with us and you would like to play along, we welcome that. Any guesses or suggestions, please feel free to put them in the live chat. The only thing we ask is if you have already solved today's Wordle and you know the answer, please don't give it away. And also, please, no hints if you happen to know any.
yeah.
So here we go. Let's play Wordle.
So H-E-A-R-T, heart. Let's go for the first one.
Heart.
I am rushing us. Like I said, I gotta pee.
No, I understand. Okay, heart gives us an R in the right place and a T in the wrong place, and that's it.
Okay, let's go for lions then as the second one.
Lions. And lions gives us an L and an I, but both in the wrong place. So now we have 4 of the 5 letters, but we only know for sure that the R is in the 4th position.
T-I blank, no. The I is in the wrong position, correct?
The I is in the wrong place, yeah.
T blank I-R-L. Twirl. Let's go for twirl.
Oh, twirl. That's good. Wow. You should play more often when you have to go to the bathroom. Assuming it's right.
Please
Let's try twirl. T-W-I-R-L. And that's correct.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Steve, will you do the thingamabob? Because I really have to go.
You massacred that. Yes, I will. You mean, will
Yes, but let's not forget to tell everybody to make sure that they click the button and ding the bell and all those good things.
Yes.
Because, especially tonight, folks, because you know what Friday is? Friday is the next Ask Away. And if you are a channel member or a patron, you can send in a question to ask Steve anything that you like, as long as it's under 1,000 characters. He will read it live, no matter how few periods you use.
That's true. That's true. And I will try my best to read it as written.
So yeah. Take that as a challenge. I still need to come up with mine for this week. I still need to come up with mine for this week. But also, don't forget to look in the description for charitylinks.page, which has a list of some of our friends and associates who could use some help. And if you are financially able, it would be great to help people, because helping people is good, just like Poirot does, by finding the truth.
Indeed.
We also need to let folks know that we will not be back next week, because next week I will be attending a class to get my ESOL, English for Speakers of Other Language, added to my teaching certificate.
There you go.
After, here for DS9.
That's right. So, okay, so no Trek Reluctantly next week, but the week after we're back for Deep Space Nine, and the 5th season premiere is what we will be watching. We will be watching Apocalypse Rising, the 5th season premiere of Deep Space Nine, in 2 weeks.
Woo-hoo!
So, all right.
Good night, everybody. Thanks so much. Oh gosh, I loved it. Although I like our denouement better, with the face to face,
with the Poirot in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so much. Gosh, that was so much fun. Bye,
All right,
everybody.
everybody.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for watching. See you Friday.